I'm Scott Quinlan from Solace Financial, and I'm looking to do a weekly video for my clients and their friends and family during the pandemic. This video and the information that I give in this is general advice only. It's not specific advice. If you've got any questions about anything that I talk about, please give me a call and let me explain. So every week I want to give a little bit of an update on how the market's gone and maybe a little bit of a story about something that I can find interesting in the markets for the week. So this week the market's up 2.2% and we've been on a really good strong rally for the last 3 months or so. This month in August is reporting season for all of our biggest companies, and one of the stories that I wanted to, or stocks that I wanted to talk about today is Afterpay. Afterpay is now the 17th biggest company in Australia and is up 700% since late March in their stock price. Afterpay's core business is giving out micro loans to customers where they can then go to merchants or stores to put things on like a lay-by. Now, where Afterpay wins out of this is the store needs to pay about 30 cents for every transaction to Afterpay, and also about 7% of whatever the sale price is. On the other side, the customer of Afterpay, the person buying the goods and services, they have about 8 payments to repay the debt on it. So it just comes direct debited out of someone's bank account until the debt's repaid. Now, if they don't repay after those 8 payments, then there's interest and penalties charged. So that's how Afterpay win. Now, in the last 12 months, their revenue is up about 90%. So it's looking like there's a lot more people using Afterpay to buy goods and services. And that makes sense in this pandemic time where people are stuck at home looking for things to do, that kind of thing. They're reporting on the 27th of August this month, and Bloomberg has said that they predict that Afterpay is going to make a net loss of $32 million for the year. Now, this is better than last year's $42 million that they reported that they lost, but it's still a loss. And the share price has rallied so much that even if there's any bad news around that kind of a number, which the market is predicting, then the share price could be in trouble. The other side of it as well is when you look into who's buying the stock on this, 48% of the stock owners are individuals. So with only 23% or so being institutions. Now, those institutions are generally large superannuation funds who are index traders or index. Now, because Afterpay is now the 17th biggest company in Australia, one behind Coles and just ahead of companies like Newcrest Mining and Brambles, some of these big super funds need to own it in their super fund because it forms part of the index now. So the more people buy it, the more index and the bigger that they get, the more super funds need to buy it. Okay, and these super funds are your index ones, usually your really cheap super funds. So when looking at a stock like this, we see all sorts of risks. So what if bad debts increase? What if during the pandemic we see a rise in unemployment? If the company, let's say we had 1,000 people that owed $1,000 each, well, then we've got $1 million worth of bad debts if they become unemployed and can't repay the amount. Now, that's a lot harder to claim and enforce than it is with, say, one person owing $1 million. Now, if we see a huge increase in unemployment and a huge amount of bad debts, then you could see some big losses coming up in the future for a company like Afterpay. So what am I trying to say here is, during this time of pandemic, I believe that it's prudent to be cautious, don't get carried away with the hype, and with your investments, keep it diversified and stay safe. Thanks very much for your time, and I hope to do one of these next week. Thanks.